What's up guys, it's me Nate, back with another Leica video, cause apparently that's the only videos you guys care about on this channel.
At what point you gotta just say fuck it, man? Like when you gotta stop living up here, start living down here.
Make more Leica videos.
And if you can't tell by the title or the thumbnail, we're talking about the most recent Leica film, The Missing Link. But before we get into the video, I just want to talk about a couple podcasts I've done recently. First off, I did a podcast with my sister called Kung Fu Nerds here on this channel. In the first episode, we talk about the first episode of the Cobra Kai TV show here on this channel, so be sure to check that out, as well as the podcast I've done with another YouTuber, good friend, the Shugi Shu, over on his channel where we talk about the Ant-Man trilogy. Links to both will be in the description below. And if you like my videos, definitely consider giving his videos a watch and subscribing. Alright, back to the review.
I'm back at it.
Like most Leica films, I didn't know what to expect going into this movie, but I didn't really hear that many good things about it. Currently this movie has a 67% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, which makes this the second lowest, with Box Trolls sitting at a 63% audience score. Which, come on guys. In my opinion, I think Box Trolls is a way more enjoyable movie than this. And I really thought I was going to like this movie a lot more while I was watching it. I thought we were going to get another fun adventure story like Kubo and the Two Strings. Honestly, this movie really bored me. Not gonna lie, I had to start this movie over like 3 times because I was not interested in the story or the characters. But let me start off this by talking about the things I actually did like about the movie. The voice acting. The casting was very well done. I'm surprised I didn't recognize any of the voices right away. First off, we have funny hangover man as our title character, Link, whose voice could be annoying in some aspects, but I think that's also just part of the character.
I can't believe it! Oh my goodness, that sounds... Oh my goodness, that is great!
Then you have Hugh Jackman as our other protagonist, who I'm surprised I didn't recognize.
But I think he was onto something, and I will follow in his footsteps.
But maybe that's just because I'm so used to him pretending to be an American. They even let him show off a bit of his singing pipes in this. And then we have our final protagonist played by Zoe Saldana, who was the only voice I recognized right off the bat. And then there's our antagonist played by Stephen Fry and Mickey.
Theater, they're dying for it. And I've worked hard to give the audience what they want.
Really no complaints for the voice acting side of things. And then the animation is once again a joy to look at. Missing Link is currently the most expensive Leica film, with a budget estimate of $100 million. And you can tell they were really flexing the budget in this movie with the combination of different faces, models, sets, and CGI to create beautiful scenes in this movie. Some of the shots of this movie just look like they're straight out of a live action movie. The movie does a great job of making you feel like you are going on an adventure. I especially love some of the earlier parts of the movie, like the scene here where Sir Lionel is standing on a boat looking out to sea looking stoic, or the scene later in the movie where the characters are riding on top of the elephant, where you get to see the greenery in the background. I especially love the use of colors in this movie. Seriously, this movie looks beautiful. I especially love a lot of the action scenes in this movie.
Fuck your life! Bing bang!
Again, they feel a lot more grounded than something like Kubo and the Two Strings, while still feeling very entertaining and a little over the top. Like the opening action scene, where the animators use a combination of stop motion and CGI for the monster. Or the action scene later in the movie where the characters are fighting on a boat and the boat is rocking back and forth and you can see objects moving and the boat turning. The way the scene was directed almost reminded me of a scene from Inception. None of the character designs really stand out too much of what we've seen before in Leica films. Besides Mr. Link himself, who's definitely my favorite, I especially love his look when he's wearing full human clothes. The only design I really didn't like in this movie is always Adana's character. There's just something about her face and her head that looks weird. I don't really know how to explain it. It just looks off. And that's pretty much all the things I liked about the movie. Now the things I didn't like. The story follows Sir Lionel Frost, who is a hunter, specifically of mystical creatures where he's trying to prove their existence, so he could be a member of the Great Men Society, who consider themselves great hunters and adventurers.
Look around you. You stand beneath the most renowned adventurers of the world. The members of this club have crossed oceans, tamed jungles, conquered the tallest peaks.
So unlike Box Trolls, where our villain was trying to become part of the rich white man society, our hero is trying to become a member.
I give you my word. I'll bring back proof of this creature. And in return, you'll admit you're wrong. And you'll grant me membership here so I might finally take my place where I truly belong.
Why is he trying to join this group that clearly doesn't respect him?
Follow the rich white man.
Follow the rich white man?
Exactly, now you're learning.
After finding a letter that acknowledges the existence of the legendary creature, the Sasquatch,
That'll never catch on.
he sets off a journey to Washington to find this creature so he could prove himself in the eyes of the Great Men Society. And he does. Well, that was easy. And it turns out the creature he was looking for is actually intelligent. He understands him. And he was the one that actually sent him the letter. And this creature, now named Mr. Link by Sir Lionel.
Mr. Link? You know, like missing link.
He'll help him prove his existence, and in return, Lionel will return him to where he belongs. Return him to his extended family, the Yetis, out in the Himalayas. And so these two set off on a journey to help each other so they can find where they belong. And that's pretty much the core premise of the movie. Pretty simple. A little too simple. And that's pretty much my core problem with the movie. This movie felt very safe. And it felt a lot more kid-friendly. And I know technically all Leica films are kid movies at their core, but they at least have some nuance to them. I mean, I knew exactly how this movie was gonna go. Our heroes go on a journey together, they grow closer together until they get to their destination, and if they find out that it wasn't all what it was cracked up to be, and they realized what the thing that they wanted wasn't really what they needed, and the missing link was actually the friends that we made along the way. I mean, this movie has like the plot of like every single Toy Story movie, and a movie isn't inherently bad if it has a predictable plot. I mean, I like superhero movies, the most predictable plots of all time. But I just was not invested in the character. Outside the cool action scenes, I couldn't really care about this adventure that we were going on. We have our main character, Susan, who is trying to find more people like him, and he hopes he can find that in his cousins, the Yetis. He's a very naive character who doesn't know anything about the world, and a lot of the humor stems from him in this movie, being naive of the world, not understanding certain phrases and lingo.
Whoa, sir! Wow, your hand!
I give you my word.
Okay, what is it?
What?
Your word.
No, it's a figure of speech.
Sounds good, what is it?
Than just acquaintances.
Oh. Wait a second. I said, oh, like I knew what you were talking about, but I don't.
Never mind.
And honestly, I could not get down with the humor in this movie. Boxtrolls was funnier than this movie. Then we have Sir Lionel Frost. He wants to make greatest discovery. He wants to be remembered as a great man. And he has a little bit of arrogance. He doesn't treat Mr. Link super great throughout the most of the movie. And the movie does acknowledge this. So he does have a little growth. And him and Mr. Link do share one scene together that I actually did like. They have a little bonding moment on the boat where Mr. Link says he also wants to be remembered, but he doesn't even have a first name.
At least you have a name. One of your own, I mean. I don't think Mr. Link really counts.
Well, then, perhaps we might remedy that. You must choose a name. A name that has special meaning to you.
Some years back, there was a young prospector who came to live in the woods. One day, they came close to my cave well, and they saw me, and they were just standing there. And when I looked at them,
They didn't scream, didn't turn and run away like most people do. They just smiled. And that smile meant the world to me.
Perfect. And what was the prospector's name?
Susan.
Susan.
Yeah, Susan. That should be my name.
It's a good moment. It is a good bonding moment of the movie. I also like how even though Lionel doesn't consider himself a great man yet, Susan does. Throughout the movie, Susan is constantly reinforcing to him that he is a great man, and he already considers him one.
I can't possibly.
Yes, you can. If anyone can, it's you. You're a great man.
And I think it is earned when they call each other's friends at the end of the movie. But again, I just don't think the two characters are that interesting. Zoe Saldana's character, Annalena, is pretty much just along for the ride. They needed a female character. Maybe I would have enjoyed this movie a little bit more if our villains / antagonists were more interesting characters. Which Leica is pretty good with making interesting villains. But that was not the case in this movie either. Lord Dunsby
Pickett Dunsby
is literally just a boomer, who outside the beginning of the movie with Sir Lionel Frost doesn't interact with our heroes at all, until the very end of the movie where he's disposed of rather quickly.
Oh, bugger.
And then you have Willard Stank, who's a bounty hunter hired to stop Sir Lionel on his quest. and he's pretty good and entertaining. I love his design, but again, he's just a bounty hunter. That's it. So lackluster heroes and lackluster villains make for a lackluster movie.
Because you're weak, Nick. Weak.
I agree, just chilling.
It's funny how this is the only Laika film with no kid characters in it, but it still felt the most kiddish. I wish I had more to add to this movie, but that's really all I had to say. But I would like to know what you guys think about this movie. How does this rank when it comes to Laika movies? Let me know in the comments below. Consider leaving this video a like and maybe subscribe for more of my content. Once again, I've been Nate. This is Infinite Repeat. Stay up.